Yeah, so for us, Google Apps Script is almost perfect for most add-on functionality because it completely eliminates the need to manage servers and infrastructures. It's a perfect environment. You just focus on writing the code, and Google handles all the execution and the authorization and everything else.
Welcome to the Google Workspace Developer Spotlight Show. I'm super happy to have today in the spotlight with me Amit Agarwal. He's a Google Workspace developer and founder of Digital Inspiration, and he's based in Agra, India. Amit, great to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here, and thank you, Chanel, for inviting me to this show.
Very cool. So, let's start out by asking the first question. I know you're super well versed at, developing add-ons for Google Workspace, but I was wondering, how did you find out about this great opportunity? How did you find out about AppScript and that you can create add-ons?
Yeah, so I first discovered Google Apps Script around 2009. That was the time when Google introduced it as a way to automate tasks inside Google spreadsheets. Now, as someone who was already writing about Google products on my blog, Digital Inspiration, and given my background in software engineering, I was naturally very excited by the possibility of creating automation tools inside Google Sheets and Gmail. So initially, when I started, I was writing very simple scripts that would help my blog readers do automate and do repetitive tasks. So, for instance, I wrote a script that would track product prices on Amazon and then send them an email whenever the prices go down. Or they could track the availability of iPhone and iPad on various Apple stores and then send them an email alert when the product is available. Then I also wrote a script that would monitor a website, and whenever the website goes down, they would send an email alert to the website owner. Now, all this was done with Google Apps Script. So, as time went on, these hobby projects they led to the development of several popular Google add-ons that are now used by students and some of the biggest companies worldwide.
That is an amazing story. I love that. And you did say, you have a quite a number of popular add-ons. I checked out your website and I did a little bit of math. So in the Google Workspace Marketplace, you have made most of your add-ons and automation scripts available, and you currently have a combined more than 46 million installs. That is just insane. Now, I'm wondering, what is your secret sauce? Do you have a strategy to launch these add-ons and make them so popular?
So I've been building Google add-ons for over a decade now, and I would say that there are just two factors that have helped me here. So every add-on that I have developed is designed to solve one simple problem, one real-world problem, and I prefer to keep it very simple without cluttering the add-on with too many features. So for instance, if you look at my add-ons, there's an add-on, very simple add-on that just lets you download your emails from Google Drive and it just does that, nothing else. Then I have an add-on that lets you create animated GIFs from your Google slideshows. That's it. So they're just designed to solve world problem, but they do it really well. Also, whenever I develop an add-on, I try to create extensive documentation and also create YouTube videos around how to use the add-on. I have not indulged in advertising and instead rely on organic discovery through blogs and YouTube videos. So the primary goal when I'm developing an add-on is that the add-on should be easy to use. So I'm always focusing on keeping, the interface very clean, simple, and intuitive.
That is a very good strategy. Now, in the Google Marketplace, once you've launched your app to it and there's an app listing where, the billions of Google Workspace users can find it, discover it, install it, there is currently no built-in monetization. So there's no tick or any checkbox you can tick like that and monetize your app. But there are ways to achieve this. And I know you and some other workspace developers do this. Can you briefly explain how you've set this up, maybe some of the tools that you've used for this?
So obviously, since you know that the Google Workspace Marketplace, they don't have built-in monetization, so we use a built of external payment systems and freemium models to generate revenue for our add-ons. So most of our add-ons, they are on the freemium model, so that we have a very generous free tier with essential features allowing users to experience the value before they committed to any paid plan. Uh, when you offer a free tier, this kind of lowers the entry barrier and also increases the adoption rate. Then we integrate third-party payment service providers like Stripe, PayPal, and if you're in India, we also have Razorpay to handle subscriptions. Now, users who upgrade to a premium plan, they obviously get additional features, they have a higher quota, and they also get premium support. Now, you would be surprised to know, but there are some school districts in US who still rely on the good old purchase orders and printed checks for payments, and we handle that as well for volume orders.
That is super interesting. As a matter of fact, I didn't know that. So it really means that you have to be flexible in your offering to also accommodate
Exactly.
like school districts who need those purchase orders. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
good. One of the add-ons I did have a look at is the email notifications for Google Forms. It has more than 19 million installs. You
yeah.
mentioned before that with all of your add-ons, you're trying to solve a real world problem. Now, with this specific add-on, how did you get the idea? What is the problem you're trying to solve, or who gave you the idea for this?
Yes, so the idea for this email notifications add-on stemmed from a very simple need. Our users, they wanted instant email alert when someone submitted a response to a Google form. And this is all it does. But what sets this add-on apart is its ability to, route email notifications based on form answers. So I'll give you an example here. So for instance, if there is a school who's using a Google form, now emails can be automatically sent to a specific teacher based on the class or the subject that the student has selected in the form. Similarly, if a company is using a Google form for, say, job applicants, here different managers in the company can be notified based on the job role that a candidate has opted for when submitting the Google form. So this functionality, makes this add-on very unique and very popular. But in the last few months, we have also expanded the capabilities of this add-on. So it not just sends email, but we can also send notifications to Google Chat, Slack, Discord, and so many other places.
I love that because it shows that we're not only thinking of, oh, it has to stay within Google Workspace, it can also interact with other user interfaces like Slack or whatever
Yeah,
the user is using. Because at the end of the day, you're creating solutions to help your users, and they might also be working in different user interfaces or using other tools in combination with
yeah,
Google Workspace. So I love
yes.
how you're adding that capability. Now, when we kind of like look under the hood of your Google Workspace add-ons, when it comes to creating such solutions, generally you can put them into two buckets using Google App Script or using HTTP endpoints and whatever
Yeah.
stack that you like, whatever tech stack that works for you. How do you go about this? Do you start out using one and then the other? Do you stick to one? What is your preferred way to create these add-ons?
Yeah, so for us, Google Apps Script is almost perfect for most add-on functionality because it completely eliminates the need to manage servers and infrastructures. It's a perfect environment. You just focus on writing the code, and Google handles all the execution and the authorization and everything else. But for us, we also do all our development locally inside Cursor or Visual Studio Code, and then we use Google's Clasp utility to push all the code to Google servers. That's about Google Apps Script, but we also use Google Cloud Run for more complex applications. Now, Cloud Run gives us the functionality to use any programming language, and it can also handle more demanding features. To give you an example, one of our add-on, it lets you add passwords to your PDF files in Google Drive. Now, this is something that you cannot do with Google Apps Script alone. So we have Google Cloud Run applications that do it, and then we interface them with Google Apps Script. So you kind of have an add-on to do all that. Now, this hybrid approach, we use Google Apps Script for the core functionality, and then Google Cloud Run for more complex and demanding applications has really worked for us.
Yeah, and that's a very good example of that it doesn't have to be one or the other. Depending on
Yeah.
your use case, it can be a combination of both. Another thing that I was, wondering if you could help a little bit and give some guidance, given you have all these add-ons that you've published to the Google Workspace Marketplace. What are your one, two most important tips for developers who also want to publish to the marketplace?
Yeah, so if you are a developer who is looking to publish on the Google Marketplace, I would say there are two tips that I have to share. One is that you should always focus on the first run experience. Now, when a user installs an add-on, they should be able to get value from the add-on within the first 30 seconds of the launch. So what you may do is, that's what I do. You may include a quick tutorial that shows up when somebody launches the add-on for the first time, Or the best part is you can even send them an email as soon as they install an add-on, and that email could include how-to guides that shows them exactly how to do. So they exactly know how to work with the add-on. If they don't understand, they're most likely to, stop using your add-on. I would also have another tip, and that is to have a very detailed privacy policy for your add-ons that clearly defines how you handle user data, what permissions you are requesting, and why these permissions are required. Now, when you have such a policy, this would also speed up the approval process with the Google teams, and this would also help build a trust among users because they will exactly know how their data is being used and whether they should use your add-on or not.
When you've launched to the marketplace, has there been instances where, the team reviewing your app has requested you to change things? Do you have any guidance on how to best communicate and follow up with that team?
Yes, so I've been very impressed with the approval process that's in place at Google. Whenever you publish an add-on, you have back and forth communication with the team, and they're very responsive, and they have most of the times they will really thoroughly review your add-on, your privacy policy, your terms of usage, your website where you are talking about your add-on, everything. And once everything is in place, then only they will approve your add-on. So my guide would be that you should be very communicative and always respond to them in time, and then there should not be any problem in getting your approval process through.
Yeah, and that also highlights why we do this. We are very thorough, the teams checking this. And I think as a developer, you have to keep in mind that when your app is listed on the marketplace, it is also validation for you. And it also builds trust with your potential users who will discover that application and install it because they know that there's a process behind this, making sure that the app actually does what it says. And thank you for sharing that tip also about the privacy policy, making sure that that is very tight, that that is very good, and communicating with the team. So maybe let's have an outlook for the future. Are you planning on launching any new add-ons? Are you working on anything interesting that you might want to give us a sneak peek?
Oh, absolutely. You should see some new add-ons from our company this year. The priority at this time is we are working on integrating AI capabilities into our existing add-ons because I think that should be there in every add-on because AI has completely transformed the way we work, and there is obviously a huge potential in combining AI with Google Sheets and Google Form workflows. So we are actively working on that.
And I can't wait to see it and try it out. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Maybe one last question. You've been a Google developer expert for quite a number of years now already. Can you share a little bit, why you value this program, what you've gotten out of it, and how you use this program to maybe, teach others how to build solutions on the Workspace platform?
Yes, I've been very lucky that Google invited me to their Google Developer Expert program, and it's been almost 5 or 6 years since been in this program, and it's been a very good learning experience because I get to interact with fellow Google Workspace experts from around the world, get to share knowledge with them, get to know what they're doing, and it really enhances my learning process as well. But I think the highlight of this program is that I get to interface with the actual people in Google offices who are working on building these technologies, who are creating all these products. We get to interact with them, share our feedback with them. And in some cases, we also get to know what's coming next in the Google ecosystem. So I think I'm very lucky that I'm part of this program, and it's been a huge opportunity to learn directly from Google what's coming next in their products.
Very cool. Yes, I love the program, and I'm so happy that you're part of it and also that you share your knowledge and your expertise with participants of the program, but also at Dev Fest, at events that Google organizes. So, always happy to see also your blog posts that you make, your videos. So, thank you so much, Amit,
Yes.
for that. And thank you also for being on our show today. And who knows, maybe we'll have you back on again talking about your new AI powered workspace add ons in the future. So thank you very much, Amit.
Thank you so much for having me.